So is this Frank?
Yes, Greta, this is Frank.
Ooh.
So Frank is your people dashboard inside the Atlassian ecosystem, and it's packed with a Rovo agent so your people can ask questions, but more about that in the end. So what we see here is some basic information about your company, who's been onboarding, how long do they stick around, and how many departments do you have, right? So we've done a lot of interviews in these last weeks on what kind of information HR managers need in these kind of overviews. Now, upcoming hires was very important. The tenure distribution was something a lot of managers thought was a really interesting metric. And of course, how are roles distributed between, like in my company, but also in my team for a manager, right?
Where is the employee data stored?
The employee information is stored on a work item because actually every employee is a work item in Frank. This gives us a lot of possibilities for permissions and also automations that I'll show you later. But very good question. So that's the way we handle that.
What is this work anniversaries?
Well, if you work at a certain company for a while, it's nice if somebody like sends you a present or something like that. And this will keep managers on top of that. And the same goes for birthdays, right?
Yeah, I see yours in 6 days.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah, it is. Well, I hope they send me something. And I think one of the most important things about bringing a human side to the system is onboarding. Because when people come into a new company, they need to be onboarded properly. And Frank gives you that insight, like how is it going? Do they need help? So let's look at Yannick and see how he's onboarding. He's almost at 50%. And Yannick is a Forge developer, and we're onboarding him to ease him into Forge and showing him how that works. Now we can see the progress he's making, but how does that work in the background? So when Yannick started, his work item status was transitioned from hired to onboarding. And that trigger caused an onboarding page to be created in Confluence.
Can we see that?
Sure. So this is Yannick's onboarding page. Of course, we've created this himself with the task needed for Yannick, but Frank has created the folder and has made sure that page is there so that we can show the progress in Frank for managers to see and also for managers to lend a hand to new employees if needed. If you want to get an overview of all of the people in your company, of course, we can give you this convenient table that allows you to filter, but we also have a department overview. Now, in the department overview, you can see all of your departments and the people that are working there. And if you want to know more, you just simply click it and you can view more details about that department. Another nice feature is the organization chart, right? Because if you want to have an overview of your entire organization, you just need this kind of chart. From the screen, it's also easy to dive into an employee and have the entire overview. Because from a lot of the conversations we had these last weeks, we learned that 360 view of an employee is very important. So this is that page. So this is my home page. You can see the activities that I've done. You can see some basic information, and you can also see my team. In my profile page, you have all the basic profile information, but this page is fully extendable. Again, I've already mentioned that we're using the work item as a model for the employee, which means that you can add as many custom fields and tabs and screens to your work item, and they will be reflected here. So if you want to do emergency contacts, or if you want to have more contract details about your employee on this page, then you can easily add them using custom fields. Another really nice feature is pages. So what kind of project was this employee involved in? What's the work he's been doing? I can imagine for a manager doing a performance review that this information would be vital. And it's just a nice way to collect all of that information in one place. For files, it's basically the same concept, but they're not on Confluence. They came from a computer. It's PDFs, images, and everything like certifications or contracts, documents that you want to add to that employee. You can easily upload them here and have it all in one place.
Some of the information seems very sensitive. How do you handle that?
We use Atlassian's permission system for that, and we created a special sensitive data access group that only HR and managers can be in. So this will restrict everyone else from seeing the sensitive information and will keep things safe.
So can we start checking stuff with the Rovo agent, please?
Oh, yes, Rovo, very important. So, hi, it's Frank, Frank's Rovo. And why did we build Frank as a Rovo agent as well? Because we've been talking to a lot of HR managers, and it takes them a lot of time every day to answer a lot of the questions they get from employees. And the core problem with that is that they are answering these questions not just from a policies perspective, but they also need that context from the employee. Now, what Frank does is it takes the policies from Confluence and it combines them with the data it has on the employee to give the optimal answer to the employee. So this is a win-win. For the HR manager, it saves them a lot of time. And for the employee, they don't need to reach out to HR. They can just ask their questions to Frank and they get an answer.
So we can ask anything?
Yeah, sure.
Let's start with an example. Let's say, what if you feel sick?
Okay, let's just ask. I feel sick. I'm not even asking. I'm just dropping it there. See what he does.
Yeah.
So what it does is it's reviewing the question. It's looking at all of my information, and then it's looking into Confluence to get all of the HR information. All right. Since Volkan is my manager, I need to inform him to let him know that I'm leaving.
But
I need to do that before 9.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I spotted right away. It's about 12.
It's already 12. Let's see if we can handle that. Oh, I just need to tell him. Well, Volkan, no, I'm not sick. But...
And is Frank also covering mental health type of questions?
So how would I ask that?
What if I feel a little bit overwhelmed today? Because, yeah, it's end of the year.
Yeah. Oh, wow. There's all sorts of things in place, I guess.
It's even allowing you to, look, it's even giving you more insight about what TeamVibe offers.
Yeah, let's check that out.
I'm loving Frank so far. He knows everything.
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh, yeah.
Oh, look. Our company has a partnership with Mental now. That is so nice, right? So you can get some help. So yeah, like I said, Frank uses the context from the policies that are in Confluence and the employee information and tailors that or uses that to tailor the right answer for each employee. So it's not just a chatbot, it's actually personalized.
And am I understanding correctly? So any company can drop their way of working. So then Frank will always follow those policies, right?
Exactly. So when you configure Frank, you select the space where all of these policies are at, and it will then use those policies in combination with the data it has on the employees to give you the right answers.
That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
So where do we want to go next? Like, what is the vision for Frank?
Well, we've built Frank on Atlassian fundamentals like work items, Forge, Rovo, automations, and native permissions. And we see the teamwork graph coming and the capacity APIs evolving, right? So we want to use those things to create a true 360-degree view of an employee across the ecosystem. And that insight should surface anywhere within the Atlassian ecosystem. So from home dashboards to Confluence company hubs and pages. So if you're a company that manages their work in Atlassian and you want to manage your people there, then reach out because we want to work with you and create a solution that fits Atlassian teams.
Nice. What was the main challenges along the way?
Well, I think one of the main questions was balancing flexibility with trust and speed. So we had to decide what we could ship within the Codegeist scope and how we would determine that. I think that was a very big challenge. And also, of course, all of these important things like permissions and all of that we had to take care of because it's really important for HR. So for us, that was a really big challenge.
And how did you solve that challenge?
Well, I think by leaning on native Atlassian concepts. So we use work items for employees because we can use trust and permissions. We use Confluence templates for onboarding because they are already there and they work great out of the box. And we use Jira automations to generate and manage that content. So this allows teams to keep their existing workflows, and Frank can act as an engine that connects and powers these native concepts.
Sounds very promising. And how well the idea executed from the technical perspective?
Well, I'm just amazed with the team, right? I mean, people were all on board. Everybody was super excited, and we were really focusing on building these strong fundamentals. So employees are modeled as work items, and sensitive data is protected to the permissions group, and everything runs on Forge. Runs an Atlassian app, so no data leaves the platform. So we're not finished, right? But the core is solid. It's working and it's ready to scale. And I think we learned so much from these user interviews that I'm not worried about my roadmap, right? I mean, we have a full year ahead, and I'm really excited about it.
Nice.
Thank you so much, guys.